And take a look. This is what it looked like in southeast Albuquerque last night after the first wave of storms came through. They then moved into the East Mountains where, according to PNM's website, more than 1,800 homes and businesses were left without power right after that storm hit. I saw some branches and leaves and trees that were down on the way into work this morning. You're going to find that as well. Now, because of that, many folks are waking up this morning without power. There are a few here in Albuquerque. This is a live look from PNM's website, by the way. The most kind of grouped together is up in Santa Fe. I think it's 121 people there without power. The ones in Albuquerque are very sporadic. PNM says it knows about these outages and is working on getting them fixed up as soon as possible, probably a little bit later this morning. And happening now, a section of I-40 is back open after a deadly two-car crash in Albuquerque, or just outside of Albuquerque near Moriarty. New Mexico State Police say at least one person is dead. Another is in critical condition after these two cars crashed into one another last night. Officers say a truck going east may have had a blowout, which caused it to cross the median and slam into a car going west. Crash force officers have shut down the westbound lanes in that area, but once again, they are back open this morning. Well, mayoral candidate in Albuquerque, Pete Dinelli, is now running a new campaign ad with video footage from one of our newscasts here at KRQE. But you should know we did not give his campaign permission to use our copyrighted footage. KRQE News Director Ian Monroe says, quote, "We are sending Pete Dinelli a letter to stop using our copyrighted footage. It is the same letter we have sent other campaigns, Republican and Democrat, who have used KRQE copyright material without our permission. We do not support or endorse any candidate in any race," end quote. At 5:02, there is some good news this morning. New Mexico's unemployment rate continues to go down. According to the New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions, unemployment rate for August hit 6.8%. That is down a touch from 6.9% in July. Workforce Solutions says the state had a gain of 6,900 jobs, most of them coming from the leisure and hospitality industry. Well, despite that drop, a lot of people in New Mexico are using food stamps, and they almost have to get by. But now many are worried that those might go away after Congress in the House voted to cut billions in the food stamp program to help trim the national budget. The bill, which is now headed to the Senate, it's not a done deal just yet, would also put tough new requirements on people getting food stamps, and new applicants would be required to pass drug tests. State lawmakers such as Jacob Candelaria are worried what this could mean for thousands of people here in New Mexico. He says it would deny critical aid to tens of thousands of families who really need it and who already depend on it.
What's really concerning to me is that the vast majority of people that receive food stamps are actually children under the age of 18, they're single working mothers, or they're disabled.
State Senator Candelaria there says if the cuts pass Congress, then the state legislature will have to figure out a way to cover it. By the way, Democrats in the Senate say they intend to kill the bill that cuts the food stamps. Well, an illegal dump site is now turned into a dangerous problem for one neighborhood in Albuquerque. Folks found this yesterday, a barricade of at least 10 mattresses, box springs, and other furniture blocking an alleyway between Lead and Cole just west of Girard. One guy who lives near there, George Schreiber, says not only is he worried about it, he's also upset with the city. He says he called in the problems more than a month ago, but the trash is still there, and now someone is playing a dangerous prank.
We got a public danger here, really. Somebody goes sitting in a fire truck or an ambulance screaming through here, which happens often enough, there's going to be a serious problem.
Very much so. George says the last he heard, code enforcement was working on the problem. That was late in August, but nothing has happened. So we called code enforcement yesterday night, but have not heard back. We may be dreaming about the day you're going to retire. I think we all are, but there's a new study out that shows a good amount of Americans are giving up on that dream. Why and what can you do about it? Well, here's News 13's Samantha McDonald live in a Newsplex to tell us more. Sam, it's kind of discouraging news.
Yeah, it definitely is, Matt. This new study by HSBC Bank, it shows people are feeling pretty pessimistic about retiring. About 1 in 5, to be exact, don't think they'll be able to. But we just think you shouldn't lose hope yet. The report says the reason that many people may not be able to retire as you would expect, the economic recession and also longer lifespans. I spoke with financial expert Skip Cowan here in Albuquerque about this, and he says he's not surprised by these findings. He says it is going to be tough for some people to retire, but it is still possible. He says you just have to have a plan and stick to it. He recommends you set aside 10% of every paycheck you earn, starting immediately without fail. That money will go towards your retirement fund. And another tip is to get out of the habit of using credit cards and debit cards all the time and use cash sometimes instead. Cowan says by using cash, you'll be less likely to spend it. And as for what age to retire, he has an
It amounts to looking at reality and asking yourself this question: what kind of lifestyle would I like to have when I choose to retire? And keep in mind, there's no magic age to retire. Really, it depends upon whether or not you have enough money to do it.
And another tip, if you can scale back on your spending and still live comfortably, do it. You'll thank yourself later when you're able to retire. Matt, back to you.
All right, some good advice there, Sam. It seems like more Americans are worried about retirement than in most other countries. Study shows that worldwide, 1 in 8 people don't think they'll be able to retire. Skip's advice there is really good, by the way. If you pay with cash, it's like you actually have to physically give something up as opposed to just swiping a card and worrying about it a little bit later.